Hey guys, welcome back to another episode by BNB Gaming, and today we are doing my top 10 favorite weapons as promised in the comments in the last video, if you saw that. And keep in mind, these are my top 10 favorite weapons, and if you'll notice, there's not going to be any magic weapons or ranged weapons or anything in this, because if you do know, I am a warrior on this game, or melee, whatever you call it. So pretty much these are all going to be melee weapons, so that's why they're my top 10 favorite ones, because, well, they're just going to be top 10. So, first one, let's see, here, let me get my safe out, because the ones that I don't like as much are my safe, so let me get that out. Here, let me get these ones out. I do have a mage class thing in here, but I don't use it. So number 10 on here is the possessed hatchet, mainly just because it can lock on, as you can see, like that. It can lock on, and it's pretty high damage, 180, which is really good actually. I don't know what the base damage is. I think it's 72, but if you're a melee and you have it as godly, which is the best modifier, it is 180 damage, which is really good. The only reason I don't like it is because it's only one projectile and it has to lock on before it comes back. And it has to hit something unless there's nothing in range. So it's kind of just slow, as you can see, just throwing it around, it's kind of slow. But yeah. Okay, coming in at number 9 is the mushroom spear. This can be purchased from the truffle for, I think, 1 platinum, which is a pretty high price, but as you can see, it is quite good. And if you wonder how there's so much, guys, the blood moon started rising while I was trying to find some more weapons to put on this list, because I only carry 8 with me. Some half in my safe and half on me, because I have 4 in my inventory and 4 in my safe. But I just like this weapon because it can go through walls, and also it leaves, I think, about 5 mushrooms behind. And they kind of just stick there, and it's kind of like the vile thorn or some weapons like that, and like the nettle burst and stuff like that. But also if you have it flaming, as you can see, it just can be a really good weapon. It's just I don't carry it around with me anymore because I just don't really like spears, and if I do have spears, it's gonna be the North Pole. But it has a base damage of, I think, around 76. But if you're melee and you have it on godly, it can get up to 120, which is pretty good. So I pretty much have this mapped out. So coming in at number 8 is the banana rings. Mainly just because, why they would be higher, but they're just so hard to get, because, you have to be on a blood moon, and also you have to kill, I think, 20 clowns before you even see, 3 of these. So, and you can actually get up to 10 of them. But, yeah. I just think they are pretty good. If you have a copying glitch, they can be easier to get. Just you do have to farm a few blood moons for clowns and able to get them. But if you have a copying glitch and you copy into 10, as you can see, you can pretty rapidly throw them. So they can be pretty darn good if you get them stacked all the way up to 10. So yeah. So number 8, or no, that was number 8. So God, I gotta get all this junk out of here. Okay, so number 7 is a Terra Blade, and you would think this would be higher, but I just personally don't really like it, because once those projectiles go off screen, as you can see, the green dust ends there. So they actually stop as soon as they get off screen. So it's not actually that high of range. And there's other melee weapons that you could get, as you just saw, I killed a possessed armor in 2 hits. There's other melee weapons that you could kill them in just 1 hit. You could just 1-hit them. But also, it's just because the projectile is straight, and it's just, it's if you're trying to kill bats and stuff with it, it's a like 1 in 10 chance that you're even gonna hit him with a projectile. But it has a base damage of about 110. But if you have a legendary and you are melee, you can get it up to about 161, which is really good. It's only really good if you hit with the blade. And also another thing that just probably bugs me the most about it is that it's not auto. On computer it now is, but like as you can see, I'm just spamming my remote right now, just trying to get it to go as fast as I can. So yeah. Okay, so coming in at number 6 is the Scourge of the Corruptor. It can be kind of hard to get because you do have to farm for the Corruption key mold, but it's not that hard if you just spend some time in the Corruption fighting like Golem or something with just a ton of Golem spawners, and if you just stand there for a while during blood moons and maybe some solar eclipses or something while fighting Golem, you can get it pretty fast. I remember I got 2 within like 1 day because I got like 1 and then I was just lucky with the second one. But as you can see, it's pretty darn fast, as you can see. But it's pretty cool because when it hits the ground, it unleashes tiny eaters that actually lock on. As you can see, it just locks on and kind of dominates. The only thing that's bad about it is it does take a few hits to kill things, because it's only 114 damage. But like the main reason I don't really like it that much is because you cannot fight with this thing during pumpkin moons and frost moons, because it literally takes like 5 minutes just to kill like an Everscream or something with it. Even if you're like a complete melee and you have it as godly. But if you are a melee and you have it as godly, it is 114 melee damage with like a base damage of like 64, I believe, somewhere around there. So yeah. Okay, so coming in at number 5 would be the godly, or the Paladin's Hammer. Mainly just because I know I had a big trouble trying to get this, because you have to kill paladins, and usually like there's always like a diabolist or something to come back them up, so it can be kind of hard to kill them, and also they do like some of the highest damage in the game, and launch fire these things. So it's just pretty good because, as you can see, it doesn't lock on, which I do like lock on things, but as like the possessed hatchet, this one, as you can see, it just really goes very fast. And it does the same damage. It's basically the same thing except it doesn't lock on, but as you can see, like this thing is a beast against pumpkin, because against pumpkin, like if you're fighting him, you can just like do this and just like go up and down, and it's really good against the moons and stuff to just mow down and everything. Although I don't really use it during the moons or anything at all, but it's still pretty darn good, and it's basically the same exact stats as the possessed hatchet, which is like a base damage of like about like 110, but if you're melee and you have it as godly, it can get up to 180. Okay, coming in at number 4 is the North Pole. Now it is a pretty good weapon. Like it is a really good weapon. It used to be like my main melee weapon. But it's the thing that bugs me about it is like on the Terraria wiki it says it can go through walls, and it can, but like I've noticed like if you fight things through walls, it doesn't kill them or hurt them or anything. But it is really good like during the moons. If you don't have a battle arena, you can kind of just go like that, and it really kind of mows down. The only thing that's kind of bad about it is it's not too fast, as you can see. But if you just kind of stand there and just do that, as you can see. If you saw the last episode, you saw how fast I killed Golem with this. So it is actually a really good weapon. Just there is some better melee weapons in Terraria, which are the top 3, coming up in a second. But the North Pole has a base damage of around 90, but if you have it as godly and you're a melee, you can get it up to 146. Okay, coming in at number 3 is the Vampire Knives. And these would have came earlier if they had more damage, because they can heal you. with every single hit. I believe every single hit takes 10% of the damage you just did on the guy. So technically it gives you usually around 10 health every single hit, which is pretty good, but you still are not invincible. Fighting with these, you can die. And the reason these weren't second place is because I do really love them. They're like my secondary to third weapon. Okay, so off camera just a second ago, I got a really rare drop from a unicorn. I got a unicorn on a stick, but we already have one. So yeah, it's just these aren't too good in moons or anything because they take just about as long as the Scourge of the Corruptor to kill anything. But they are really good. Basically what you do is like you fight with your main weapon and then you'll like hit with your vampire knives to heal up. So basically these are just your healing potions. As you can see, I don't carry healing potions with me. So these are basically my healing potions. Plus I got the fire gauntlet on so everything burns. But they have a base damage of around like 20, like 25, but if you're melee and you have them as godly, they can be 57 melee damage, which is really not that good, but they are pretty much really good healing potions. Okay, so number 2 is the Horseman's Blade, which is like the second best sword in console besides the Terraria Blade. Just I like it a lot better because it is auto, as you can see. It goes a lot faster, and I think it looks a little bit cooler. And another thing is like it has a little less damage, but it's 149 melee damage, and you can get it from pumpkin. Just what I really like about it is see if you hit things with it, it actually gets pumpkins that, as you can see, some of them don't lock on, but the pumpkin, it spawns pumpkins that actually lock on. So if you've seen those battle arenas, I actually have one where you just stand there and hit the passive mobs, then you can get a whole bunch of pumpkins, and then you can easily beat the Frost Moon or Pumpkin Moon with it. And it has a base damage of like, I think 115, but if you're melee and you have it at Legendary, it's 149, so it's really good, and plus that's every pumpkin, so every pumpkin that you spawn also has 149 damage. So number 1 is the Desicle, mainly just because it's like my main weapon when I'm just going around my world, pretty much just because like it can go through walls and stuff. I got a zombie banner now. But it's mainly just because it can go through walls and stuff like that, and it goes pretty darn fast, as you can see, and also they sit there for a little bit like that, and they kill stuff until you see it disappear. So yeah, it will hurt stuff all the way until it goes right there. But the only bad thing is it is quite hard to get because you have to get it from the solar eclipses, which are pretty rare. Plus you have to get it from the Reapers, which it's like a 0.5% drop chance. So you have to kill around, or no, it's not that rare. It's about a 1% drop chance from Reapers, I believe. So it's like you have to kill like 100 Reapers, I think, to get it. We were pretty lucky and got it like on our second. Actually, no, it was our first solar eclipse. We got our first one. But as a base damage of pretty much like, I think 70, so not much higher than the vampire knives if you're a good melee. But if you get it up to Legendary, it can be 114 if you're also a melee. So it's not too good of damage, but it does stick around for quite a while there. And also, it's just like, it's really good, and you can just spread it around and really fight along with it. So yeah. So that's pretty much it for my new top 10 weapons. I just decided to make a new one just because like last time I didn't know what I was really doing back then, because I wasn't a class, I was just Brennan's class. So I was just like a melee mixed with a mage, mixed with a summoner, mixed with like all 4 of the classes. But now I'm just like a melee, so now I actually have like the base damage is somewhat correct, and also the highest damage is correct, because like all these things that I have, and also they're menacing too, so you gotta have menacing. Also, this stuff might be a little less weak also, and a little less fast, but I have warding dragon armor. So yeah, because last time I had like I remember I watched it back and I had like weapons that aren't even really that good, like the candy corn rifle and stuff. And also I just like I said like the highest damage for like the Desicle was like I think 80, because I wasn't a good melee. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next episode with another Let's Play, which might be online with one of my friends. So yeah, I'll see you next episode, and